The screen's glowing, it's 3 a.m. Charts are moving, I'm chasing them. Candle whispers, they speak in flames. Risk is the devil, but I play his game. Quick moves, no time to cry. It's scalp or die. It's scalp or die. Scalp or die. I'm living on the edge. Every tick, every breath I hedge it. Scalp or die, thrills my high. Win or lose, I kiss the sky. Win or lose, I kiss the sky. Green and red, they're my only friends. A 1-minute chart, it never pretends. Pull the trigger, my heart beats fast. Every second, the future's the past. One shot, don't ask me why. It's scalp or die. It's scalp or die. Scalp or die. I'm living on the edge. Every tick, every breath I hedge it. Scalp or die, the thrills my high. Win or lose, I kiss the sky. Win or lose, I kiss the sky.
Oh man, what a good song that is, huh? Good morning, guys. Good morning, everybody. Sound check, mic check, vibe check, all sorts of checks. Hope everybody's doing great. I hope you guys are doing wonderful. We're having a good day, just steady as she goes. Picking off white dots, purple dots when I can. Good morning, everybody. How we doing? Sound check, mic check, all check. I want to make some more music. I feel like we need to. I think we need to maybe make a little maybe some techno music. I have to just get some more stuff. Good morning, Carlos, Green Otter, Judith, Bob, everybody crawling into the room. Hope you guys are having a good day. Again, do not forget, my webinar is going to be. Where's my link? Here's my link. Webinar. Saturday, 7 a.m. For those of you guys who have not registered yet, ORB. You still didn't get the dots? Tony, did you not sign up the, what do you call it? I thought you were supposed to send me an email. You got to send me an email saying, please check it, because then I need to see why you're not getting the emails. I need to go investigate. Just send a note to, right now. So there's sitting in my email box, and after the show, I'll take a look, because I need to understand what's, you should have gotten, you sent an email. When did you send an email? Is yesterday? I got nothing from you. I'm saying I got nothing from you. That's why there's no response. Can you send one right now? I'll tell you if it came in. Just send one right now when you have a chance, okay? And we'll double check, because I need to make sure that you're not sitting in some. If you're not on DND or something else where you're blocked, because we need to fix that for you. Good morning, guys. Everybody having a good day? We continue to be basically making all the money at the edges. But today, I didn't get a chance to trade much because I'm just super busy with other stuff. But honestly, today is like literally a money tree day for dots. And I will tell you why. Just, you guys, oh, there you go. Tony, I got it. Okay. So I got your thing. Okay. I'm going to respond back to you. Okay. I'm going to respond back to you right now. And then I'm going to double check as to what the hell's going on. Please fill this out. Okay. Just fill that out, and I will and I will set you up right now. And then I got to figure out like why, what's going on with your email there. So what I was going to say is everybody crawling into the room? Today is just the picture perfect day for dots, and I want to show you what is the perfect chart for us to make money, right? So that you guys can understand why things work, why they don't, and why you shouldn't really get upset when they don't, because it's not a function of you doing anything wrong. It's just the market not cooperating with you. So let me show you. Winner, 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 loser. Okay, let's just make this a loser. Winner. Okay. What makes dots work is angularity. Like you have a dot and you have an instant angularity, right? Obviously, the angularity has got to go in the direction of the dot. Where we fail is if we have a dot that just goes nowhere. The price action dies, right? There's no angularity to the direction of the dot. Or, obviously we have counter angularity, but even counter angularity is fine as long as you then have a dot that then confirms that, angularity the other way. So when you're looking at the chart right now, it's just so ripe with profitable trades. You're talking about 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 5, right? This one, non-angularity. So, 4 out of 6, right? But this one is 5 out of 7, reversal over here. 6 out of 7, reversal over here. 7 out of 8, somewhere around there. Even if it's like 7 out of 9, you're just looking at, this is like what, within the last 3 hours, you're looking at just the enormous amount of direct hits on the chart, because there's just enough angularity to make the thing work. So yes, so English says it's always it's angle up or down, right? It's just angularity. And when if you think about what is angularity, it's just momentum, following direction, right? These are all just fancy words for directionality, for price, for energy diffusing. Instead of energy diffusing flat, where there's no imbalances, everything is in equilibrium. It's energy diffusing directionally, which is what we're looking for. The dots just help us find the points, and hopefully they help us find the points in as high and accurate a manner as possible. So yeah, today has just been a great day. My biggest problem today is that I've been busy, and I probably took only like 4 out of the last 12 trades. But 2 things that you want to keep in mind. There's always a trade. There's literally a trade every 20 minutes during regular market hours, and especially now during volatile market hours, there's almost always a trade. So if you miss one, not a big deal. Number 2, if the trade doesn't work, there's always a next trade in the next 20 hours. So the best defense against losing trades is to keep size small, right? Just to keep the size super small. That is your best defense. Nothing else. You can't fine tune it. You can't refine it. You can't do anything, because all the filters that we have in here are about as good as they're going to get. You're not going to find any better filter. Here's I have another trade here. Let's going to go see if it works. And the other main thing is what, 59. So we're going to go to 49, like there. See if the other thing that I told you is that what we're trying to do is we're trying to go for a very dedicated, small directional move, and we want to put our stops in the most logical place possible, which is against the swing high of the position. So the swing high would be the highest high over the last period of dots, the 2-dot sequence, and that is be over here. And the other thing that we obviously want to match is that if the candle is super, super large, I will pass up usually the opportunity because the retrace risk is enormous in order for me to stay in the trade. Generally, I'll take the first one, especially on market opens, because those first or second large candle moves generally tend to have continuity, so I don't have to absorb the stop. But third or fourth move, I'm not going to do it. So that's it. That's all we're trying to do. And running all the accounts towards the hundreds. I ran this one towards 100. I ran this one towards 100. Probably I'm going to start working. I ran this one towards the next 100. I'm probably going to start working on the 54 to try to move that towards the next 100. This one I ran very close to 100, but I'm going to if this trade goes against me, it's going to stuff me, and I'll have to rework it again. But there's never a shortage of opportunity. It's just a matter of finding the time. And if you go into the mindset that I've sort of taken myself into, which is that I don't have to get funded till next year. Like, in other words, I don't give a shit when I get funded. The game that I'm playing is keep my accounts alive. The game everybody else is playing is let me get funded tomorrow. And when you play that game, you're almost certain to lose. The prop firms know exactly which game they want. They want you to play that game. Because if everybody plays my game, they're going to be a lot more successful in winning than trying to play the game of let me get funded tomorrow with size. That's the road to tilt every single time. So we're going to keep playing, the game of I don't care. We're going to hang. We're going to play the game of $100 a day. That's basically the game that I'm playing. As far as tonality of the market, I'm going to take this right now because it's right in front of the open. I don't care. I'm really not trading until it's 9:15. The other thing I'm not going to do is trade until the market opens, right? And then hopefully we trade around. Hopefully we get some edge trades because the edge trades have been really, really good, both in gold yesterday and of course all of the edge trades by edge trades. What I mean, and what everybody who's joining us is kind of may not know the structure. Edge trades are trades at the extreme of the price range action. So there's two types of edges. There's the session highs, session lows. This is the session highs, session lows. And then there's the opening range highs and opening range lows. Both of those areas, very fertile, high probability opportunities for making money. So the typical trade that we like to do is entry, sell, exit on the confirm. This is the opening range break from the upside against, this is the moving average. The VWAP right now, as you're seeing, is the trend-based structure. I put it into dashed mode so you can actually see the VWAP is dashed. It makes it much easier to to see it. All right, I'm actually going to rotate. I'm going to go into the 54 count. I try to work the 54 count the best I can. So we're going to be trading 54s for the opening because all the other accounts have moved. 54 have moved in the direction where we need, and we'll just keep clipping it. What was it that I wanted to? Just one sec, guys. Sorry, just bear with me a sec. Oh, Jesus. Okay, Tony, you're all set. There was something on my mind. I totally forgot. We're talking about size. We're talking about trading the edges. Macro environment. The macro environment is just completely confusing, right? I mean, we don't know if we're in the middle of peace or war is going to continue. Markets seem to have just basically given up trying to react to any headlines because everything is literally. I was just thinking that having Iran and Trump negotiate against each other is like having two crazy uncles at your Thanksgiving dinner. It's very entertaining, but very unclear as to what the fuck is going on. I mean, they both just sound insane at this point in a sense of like, Trump is like, oh, they're going to pay us 5% royalty on everything that they've ever done. And the Iranians are like, we will kill you, infidel, forever. And we demand that you pay us billions of dollars of reparations. I mean, somewhere between that, it's really not a negotiation. It's like two completely, deluded people talking past each other because there isn't even a middle ground in that compromise. So yes, we're on TradingView right now, XTB, XLB. This is TradingView, my friend. We're on TradingView always. It's kind of crazy. I just thought it was funny because when you look at the negotiating demands of one side, negotiating demands of the other, you're like, why even bother? It's like, I demand you pay me $1 trillion. I demand you stop existing, and you're going to give me 5% of all your royalty fees. I'm like, there isn't even a starting point in that discussion. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's all could all be posturing. Both sides, of course, are super good at posturing. So that's why I think the markets are just completely not interested. The one thing I noted, if you guys let's look at my. Hang on, let me clean up my charts here just a little bit. And let's go to my Twitter because I posted something on my Twitter that I thought was kind of really like the most interesting stat. Where was this? Right. So I said the most important stat to watch. And what this is somebody is just putting a list together. How many ships are passing through the Strait of Hormuz? That's really the only thing that matters from an economic point of view is how many ships are passing through. I think the Chinese container ships said that they're going to be willing to put out their stuff. This is still single digits. It's not even close to where we need to be. We need to first get into double digits and then maybe obviously triple digits. That's where the normal traffic is. But to me, this is the only statistic you want to be watching as a near-term pressure valve on the global economy, right? Well, I understand about like basic negotiating techniques, but like, Tony, if one guy says, I want $1 billion, and the other guy says, you owe me $1 trillion. It's not really like a starting point, It's not like when one says, okay, I'm gonna bid 150, and he says, oh, I'm offering 200,000. Like, the one is a negative trillion, the other one is a positive trillion. You just, you're not even close to the negotiating tactics. That's why I just find it amusing. I mean, I'm sure the reality is nowhere near where it is, but their public posturing is just hilarious because it's like, dude. Kindergarten kids have better sense of reality than both of you guys. But that's perfect. I mean, I think the most interesting thing about Trump is that the Iranians finally have somebody who's crazier than they are on the opposite side of the negotiating table, and maybe that's actually what you need in order to get these monsters to stop. Because certainly trying to be rational, reasonable, and cordial is absolutely the worst thing you want to be with these people. So anyways, we'll see how it plays out. Markets are pretty decent range. And one of the interesting things, is astrology. Are you in the room today? Astrology loves to look at the prior session lows and highs as touch points. So it'd be interesting to see if they want to try to run the London lows, or maybe even run the London highs. So far, it looks like they want to try to run the London highs more than London lows. But we'll have lots of interesting opportunities if. Oh, sorry. What am I looking at? Jesus, I'm sorry, guys. I have gold over here. I'm like, wow, this chart looks really interesting, but it's totally not. So this is we're still in London. That was gold, because gold opens up an hour early because gold trades New York. But this is one of those things, by the way, that I'm going to be educating you guys in the ORB course, because everything, unless you know the nuances, everything trades differently, and you got to know where the real levels are based upon the product you're trading. Gold is not NQ, and oil is not either one of those. So you got to know what, how, and when things trade in order to be able to do that. Yeah, so astrology, likes to look at London highs and lows. We are, by the way, mid-mark. It's a 200-point range in London. I will say this, so while we're coming up to New York, what I wanted to show you, because I'm like in absolute insomnia because I'm on these stupid steroids for another 2 more days. So I literally I'm working on 3 hours of sleep every night, which means I'm up for the London Open. And it's really fascinating to watch the London Open, because let's replay this. I want to show you what happens, right? Let me just take you through the price action from Asia to London, right? Because it really, really shows how things truly work, right? So here's Asia, right? London starts to open up, right? Here's 3 o'clock in the morning. We start to mark the opening hour of London, and watch how interesting the price action becomes. London opens up, and boom, boom, boom. What is the first thing they do? They start challenging the highs, right through here, right? Just like you can literally see liquidity come in, then they come back and they take it to the downside, right? Establishing a little bit more range. And then basically at the end of the first hour, the 3 to 4 hour, look how they start pushing things around. They literally start pushing the edges of the highs right through here, taking these trades over here, buying the highs over here, becomes a completely beautiful trade. You're taking out the highs, and boom, all of a sudden, you see how London now creates, out of nothing, this 70, 80 point range right away as the ORBs come in. Now, this is where it next comes in. So here's the ORB levels. You have the high, the mid, and look how right at 4 o'clock we just push away like a meteor through those levels to all to fresh session highs, and continue really for about a good half an hour. So when people talk about flow and volume and liquidity, this is what they're talking about. Look, we were dead before London comes in. All these new buyers or sellers, whichever way you want to play. In this case, it's all buyers come in, and you see just a massive push up that we can catch with all of our indicators as it comes in. I was watching this live, trading a little bit of it, and it was just fascinating how boom, all of a sudden, all the price action lights up as the session opens up. So that's the story. Just wanted to share that with you. Who's negotiating for Iran? The Speaker of the Parliament, who's actually given the special dispensation by Israelis, who actually let them fly and negotiate in Islamabad. We'll see. At this, as I said, at this point, it's almost like a Italian operetta. You just kind of let it go, and watch an amusement until eventually something real, pops up. The markets clearly are not nonplussed by this, right? I mean, there's a little bit of a negative drag here, but not a big one. There's certainly not a lot of panic, and frankly, the bid is to the upside in some ways. Given a chance, the markets want to explode because the belief is that this is all temporary, and once it is, there'll be a lot of activity. I mean, the other thing is, this is a very macabre thing to say, but because there's so much freaking damage, the actual economic, assuming this shit gets settled, right? The shit gets settled, and we I don't know if the Marines take over Carg Island, 82nd Airborne base. I was watching a super interesting military show yesterday with a guy, very, very detailed analysis of exactly what's happening. The bottom line of the reason why the Strait of Hormuz is very difficult to navigate is not because the Iranians have any ships. The Iranians have no longer have any ships. The whole Iranian Navy is sunk. But what they're doing is they have a whole bunch of seaborne and airborne. Seaborne drones are basically boats that are like kamikaze boats, that they have no pilots and they just come in and they try to shoot the ship. And airborne drones in these tunnels on the size of the cliffs of the Strait of Hormuz. It's basically sort of like, I think, 100-kilometer area on both. Well, on one side, the other side is obviously Oman. So on the Iranian side, and out of those, tunnels and storage facilities, this is where they start. And those drones have very little distance. The only way they can harass the Strait of Hormuz is with these drone things, because what happens after that is all the long-term stuff, all the long-range stuff, first of all, is much easier to intercept. And secondly, it's actually much harder. It's very, very hard, apparently, to hit a moving ship. Yes, and the A-10s are coming. So the idea, I think, he was trying to explain this, and I thought it was fascinating. He said that the idea is, at least strategically it appears, you bring in the 82nd, you bring in the Marines, and they take over that. Nobody needs to invade Iran. Iran, by the way, exists beyond the mountain range. So there's this Strait of Hormuz, massive mountain range, and there's Iran. Nobody gives a shit. Let them stay, where they are. The main thing is if you can capture that 100-kilometer area, clear it of any drone attacks, and clear it of whatever, the strip of mines that they put in there, that makes the whole, passageway to Hormuz completely safe. It basically cuts away Iran's had one leverage, which was to control the Strait of Hormuz, and U.S. takes that away. It's unconditional surrender at that point. It doesn't matter what they say. So that's the tactic. We'll see if that's what's happening. I keep my fingers crossed. General Kane is supposed to be one of the greatest military commanders in the world, so I'm really hoping that he gets his military discipline executed the way he wants to. But there's lots of dangers. These fuckers have a lot of drones all over the place, and they need to kill them all, because those are the ones that present the most immediate risk, both to the U.S. troops and to the ships that are trying to sail through. So that's really, I think, where all the tactics are lining up. Right. And then the other thing that I read, which is very disturbing, really disturbing, is that the fucking Chinese are using Pakistan highways to actually replenish the Iranians with drones. So they are surreptitiously helping the Iranians. And I don't know, right now, only the Israelis are trying to bomb those routes, but if that's true, that's a very, very disturbing development, because Iranians at this point are kind of out of ammunition. And if the Chinese are rearming them, they're effectively conducting warfare against us, in a surreptitious way. So that's also kind of very ugly. So we'll see. That's basically the situation on the land. And I think everybody's just hoping that we can overcome those obstacles at this point. All right, market open, big pop. Well, 30-point pop. See how well it plays. don't know if I really want to, take the first candle on the move here, but it is a white, white dot move. Oh, where am I? Where's my stuff here? Hold on. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm trading the 54s, right? Yes. Okay. 17 seconds left. I don't like to follow the first candle, so I'm going to pass up. This is one of those candles that it's very often as a rug pull. We've done this so many times where you follow the first candle and it's a rug pull. Today, though, I guess it's not. Fresh session highs. If we hold those, then it's worthwhile for us to pursue. Let's get a little bit bigger. So New York session highs somewhere here. New York session is sort of mid to London session. London session, we're like starting mid London session. So it'd be interesting to see if they want to run the highs first or maybe move the lows first. We'll see. First, we just need to have the New York session highs established. And while if you bought this candle, yes, it definitely worked. You can also see how quickly we backed off the highs, which is why I don't like to trade them unless they can sustain them, unless it's it holds at the highs. At which point, then the buyers really are in control instead of just simply a little vertical stop run. That's actually a way that you can see if something is just a running of the stops like this, or a genuine demand for product where, the more it holds at the highs, the more likely it's a genuine demand for product rather than just a run for the stops, right? So see how that goes. Good morning, everybody. Anybody new in the room? Say hi to me. Tell me where you're from. Very much mid-tier, mid-market, and mid-trade. I started telling myself, you don't trade mid. I'm really starting to sound like my kids, at this point. No mid trades. That's what we're trying to do, either in location or quality of trade. Hey, Kippy, nice to have you in the room. Stay safe, my friend. Randy from what's TO? Randy, is that Texas? So we're also very tight to the VWAP, right? Look at this, 8 to the VWAP, very, very tight. It's very emblematic of just a balanced, uninteresting market, a very mid-market. Meaning that when market is in balance, we have zero interest, right? When things are nice and calm, that's actually of zero interest to us. It may be nice for aesthetic reasons, but we're always looking for dislocations because that's where the that's where the markets are. Oh, TO is Toronto. Oh, Toronto. Okay, nice to have you, Norman. What's it like to live under communism? I'm just kidding you. All right, going to try see if we can run the held the VWAP so far. Maybe they want to try and run the session highs to the round number of 2,500. So that would be interesting. We actually have, look at this. We have, oh no, this is not an ORB trade because ORB trades one of the things that I kind of wanted to warn you against is you're going to get these little false ORB labels because until the session completes, there's just no way to eliminate them off the indicator. But there, until you get the second leg, which is at 10 o'clock, don't trade these ORB labels. They're just garbage. I mean, they're not real. I just don't have, I just can't eliminate them because of the way the indicator writes. It's everything else. XLB Travels, nice to have you. Is it winter in South Africa now? Or like fall? I'm watching this session high. New York session high. Let's go. I might have gotten totally faked out on this move, but let's see. I'm going to have to be underneath here, and I want to, what do I buy? 70. I want to be out at 80. 80. All right, let's see if I can get this trade out. That was a very ugly little move. Come on. Do it to me, Poppy. Oh, there we go. And that did work. So that was again, let me show a new fresh session high. We probably should press that too. Let me see if I want to trade that. But just kind of to show you, it took a little while to survive this trade. And this is why I insist, whether, at least for my kind of trading, whether you like it or not, that your stops can't be small, because the market counts on you thinking that the stop should be underneath the candle. The stop should be underneath the swing low. That's the real stop. Everything else is just a way to take money out of your hands. Sorry, I'm not taking this trade. There's a nice big extension trade here. I think it probably would actually work, but I'm just yapping. You guys know sometimes I'm yapping, so I'm not focusing. But the session high break trade is very good. The other reason I didn't want to do this is because to really put a stop here, you got to be all the way down here. You got to really, really give yourself an enormous amount of room. So kind of, not worth it. But it's clear that we took out the 500. And now we're going to try. Now, as the astrologer likes to do, he's going to watch the 540 level, which is the London session highs, and see if they want to run that, because that's the most natural level to run now. Next. It's hot as hell? Really? Wow. Wait, so are you in the middle of the country? Is it like by the water? I'm just curious where your location is in South Africa. All right, fresh session highs. That actually did break up to a lot. We could have made another 10 more points over here, but I held off. Okay. I held off. Anybody take the first session high trade with me? Yes, no? So New York session still inside the London session, but creeping higher. First 10 minutes of the day. Let's just see if there's any headline news too. I'm just curious. Iraqi output. I thought it was Iran outputs. Okay. That's interesting. Meta's doing a big layoff. All right, reversal at the highs. Not taking it because we're up above the VWAP. This is even if this works, it's a completely it's a very mid setup. I still think we haven't really probed the London session highs here. Markets are very generally are kind of very quiet. There isn't much to move stuff around. Yes, ORB is opening range break. Kruger National Park. I have never been to the continent of Africa in my life. My wife loves South Africa. She's visited a couple of times, but I have never been to the continent of Africa anywhere. Neither North Africa nor just Africa itself. So it's on my to-do list. I've been to every other continent, I think, for sure. Yes, every other continent. All right. What time is it? Still, no, it's 9:40, 15 minutes left. As I still see, this was, and by the way, did I tell you why this was, a fake out move here? The first or the second, point of control sells at highs, especially, in the first half hour, those are usually, in many ways, probably the better trade. I should have simply been a buyer. If I really wanted to invent a new trade setup, that's probably a great setup. It's very rare that you get the first reversal to be like a V-shaped reversal. It's much more likely that it goes like this and up. So that becomes a really good point of purchase. I should have thought about that, but maybe next time we'll try to exploit that idea. Yes, I have been to Israel several times. Not in a long time though. I really, really want to go. Really want to go. Obviously not now because it's crazy. By the way, anybody on a plane or been on a plane in the last week and a half? I am so fucking dreading the stupid vacation that my wife booked for us. Because it just looks insane. I can't deal with the lines. I'm really hoping that at least the TSA lines will work. Ben, you been on a plane? Yeah, I have TSA pre-check. I do. But I heard some of for example, Atlanta wasn't working. I mean, Newark, I think is going to work. By the way, first time in my life, I am so going to milk. I'm going to pretend that I'm a freaking disabled person here. I'm not pretend because actually at doctor's orders, I'm not allowed to stand on my feet, for more than a minute or two. So I'm actually going to request fucking wheelchair assistance to the plane because of my sciatica injury. So I'm really I just decided I'm going to milk it till it's worth. But yeah, what's SAN? Oh, San Diego. San Diego is 5 minutes. DRD says nightmare. DRD, what were you trading? What were you traveling? Which airport? This actually is a pretty decent sell. I should have taken this sell. Sorry, I'm yapping. Purple dot sell was probably worth taking. All right, we'll focus. I'll stop yapping. We'll start trying to see if we can take some more trades here. Because we did reject all the highs. Now we're trying to go for New York session lows. Still 15 minutes to carve out the range. The range is very narrow. It's basically, it's about 100 point range so far. There's no TSA line, right? So I'm saying, some of the airports are they don't even have the staff for TSA line. The indicator I'm using is our proprietary dots indicator. Two proprietary. By the way, let me everybody who's new in the room here. Here's the playbook for dots, and here's the playbook for the ORB. These are two indicators that we have going that we use in the room. Yeah, New York airports are bad. But I think we're going to go from Newark, so I'm hoping that's not as bad. Yeah, I know. I already have a ticket, but like you only need like 48-hour notice. We're not going till next week, so I'm going to this. No, the indicators are not free. The indicators are part of our coaching. So if you want to, be part of our coaching, I'm just put the link in here, and you can come hang out with us. You get it for like 6 months with our coaching and all of the stuff that comes with it. That was just a really easy, clean hit. We could have run that account nicely. All right, trying to run the session lows. Let's go. Today definitely feels like a much quieter day, right? I think everybody is just waiting for the Marines. Like everything else in American life, we're always waiting for the Marines to create the next chapter of American life, right? Definitely hanging around the VWAP. Yes, definitely hanging around the VWAP. VWAP trades are kind of interesting too. Like we can play this because it's quiet. Not much happening here. I like playing like if it holds the VWAP and then turns into a dot. Like we hold it, we get a dot. Or conversely, we break the VWAP again. The one word in the English language that will always challenge me. I told you, right? Like this is the only way you know that I'm a Russian spy, is because I can't pronounce the word VWAP. That's how you know I'm not a native speaker. So I'm watching this because this is kind of interesting because a move through VWAP on a deep red dot is probably a good sign that we're going to take it. On the other hand, if we're holding it right now, see we're holding the VWAP, the next candle that gives me a green dot, probably a good trade probably a decent trade that we support holds. So let's watch this for the next 2-3 candles, see how it plays out. Good morning, everybody. Everybody's like slowly crawling into the room today. Almost the same as the markets. Everybody's just like lazy. All right, holding the VWAP. Let's see if we can break the highs. That would be a good signal for us to go long. We need to close above 55, basically. What's really cool when you're watching the dots, like, intensely on a minute by minute basis, you could literally see support resistance forming, probing, pushing, and then, resolving on a step-by-step basis. Like the narrative really cleanly forms. We're actually, by the way, near session lows on a red dot. This is going to be prime trade for us. If we break session lows and hold them, we got to go short. This is an obvious bread and butter trade for us. It's actually sort of a mechanical. Sorry, let me just watch this for 1 second. We're going to take I'm actually going to change the POCs to the buy side because we're at the lows now. Okay, 5 seconds left. We're going to sell this. Sell. I'm going to be, what is mine at 16? I want to move this up and I want to move this to 26 to 6. Let me see. Did it drop to 6? Did I miss my move? Let's see if I can make 6 here. Come on to Poppy. Let's go. There we go. we took the move to the downside. So sorry, when you get the big moves, there's two things you need to do right away. One is move to the plus 10. Obviously, this moved much more than 10. Now we're crashing New York lows, really, really crashing them. And two, you got to get the stop high enough so it doesn't retrace you out on this wrapper. So I'm kind of like at the beginning of it. Now, by the way, this is a big drop, right? This is a 424. It's like a 40 candle drop. Why is this not showing me? I am having some really serious problems with the X mechanism. Are you guys also having the same issue? That I think I'm going to have to change myself to basis points because for some reason something is going on that is not in the indicator. There's nothing wrong in the code. Wait, why is this not? It's not even showing up on the basis points. What's going on over here? Fuck. I want to change basis points, threshold, dots only. Yeah. Why isn't this showing me over here? Maybe it's not enough. 21. Really? Let me just test this out. Four basis points, just for shits and giggles. Okay, that's working. So then it's got to go 5 basis points. I'm just trying to test why it's not displaying. Let's do 5 basis points. See? 4 is working, but 5 is not. And 5 would be big. Okay. Yeah, for some reason it on my, I don't know if it's my computer, all of my volatility readings just stopped working for me. Like just completely stopped working for me. I don't know why. All right, New York session high. Here we go. So somebody's asking me about the point of controls, right? You use the point of control opposite to the edge. So if it's at the short edge, at the low edge, you're looking at the buys. If it's a long edge, you're looking at the sells, right? Generally, the buy, because markets are almost always upward skewing, it's the buy point of control that I always like to trade. It's the reversal from the bottom that is always the much more fruitful reversal than the reversal from the top. So, yeah, guys, I think it's just me. I don't know what the fuck is wrong with my settings here, but it's just completely screwing me up on my computer. So I'm just eyeballing it at this point. It's fine. I'm glad that it's working for everybody else because I know it wasn't the code. It was working for me. Just last night, it just stopped working. Nothing I would do could fix it. So the point of control here is very high at the 20 level. But if I wanted to sort of gamble, I would. Okay, here we go. Point of control now moves to the 83 level. Fresh session lows. And if this holds, and it doesn't, but if that holds, that would have been a great reversal point for us. I might have low memory. I'll double check. Thanks, Alien. All right, 17 seconds. Probing the lows. The red dot stays in place. If this candle prints, then we have a really good reference point for a reversal trade if we get it in the next candle or two. Fresh New York session lows. I'm not chasing this low, but especially because we're coming up to this is astrologer's trade, testing the London low, right? So we're getting this confluence of London lows, New York lows, and the reversal point. So if we close 83, we got to go long. It's hopefully the reversal trade. 44 seconds left. They're trying to rally it a little bit. Let's see if we can close the 83s. All right. We're long the 83s. What time? How much time do we have left? 26 seconds left. I doubt it's going to be this candle. Usually it takes 1 or 2 candles for it to work before we get some short covering coming in. So let's see what happens. 12 seconds left. They're flirting with that level. You see, this goes from X to target. If it closes on target, that's a signal. If it stays on X, it's not a signal. Okay, it's a signal. We're going to go long against this, and we're looking for 93, which, by the way, hit. I just missed it. And there we go. Nice reversal. Everybody hit it. It was just super, super clean, right? Hope you guys took that reversal. That was just like classic reversal move off the indicator. Give me a +1 if you guys took that reversal. Carrick, nice to have you in the house. Good job. Nice job, everybody. Who was it? Who was it yesterday? It was Vasily. Vasily was like, what is this POC? It feels like more like it's a POS. And I'm like, no. Let me explain to you. It's actually a really valuable indicator. But that was really funny. He was like, I think the POC is more like a POS. Well, what happened on the profit target? You made it too short, or you just, I just try to take the 10. A lot of times the profit target, of course, can be a lot more. Again, it all depends on how you're trading. I'm just, I'm fixed target guy. That's me. I'm a fixed wing airplane. I'm just going to go for my target and get a hit. All right, we're almost like 2 minutes away from building the ORB range, which might give us a little bit more trades as we go along. Those of you guys, by the way, who are interested in coaching is tomorrow night. So if you want to sign up, it's our Thursday night. It's going to be tomorrow. So you'll be privy to get all the indicators and come into coaching with me. And we'll discuss some very interesting things that I'm going to share with you. It's super interesting. I'm really getting into some very, very deep philosophical conversations with AI, but it's very valuable as an analytic tool. This is actually a pretty decent trade, right? It's a white. We have a white dot trade. I'm not going to take it because I'm just kind of not focused on it. But if that held, that would have been a pretty decent trade. But it doesn't. We're not getting the move. I'm not only because I really want to see the ORB ranges print, and then I want to see how it wants to act around those ranges for a little bit before I start committing. Thank you, Dr. D. All right, purple to test the lows. Astrologer, is this support? Are we trading London low support? I mean, I guess if we break it, that's going to be significant. Because right now it's just pretty much all London low supports, right? This is the London low, and this is, of course, New York low, and they're kind of getting, very, very, very tidy together. There we go. So there's the RBs, and we are breaking. Let's see what we want to do. We want to break the New York session ORB. Because if we do, that's a very natural sell for us. You see, it's printing a purple sell signal, 27 seconds left, New York lows, London lows, everything goes. Everything gets penetrated, right? This is a big, big candle, though. You have a big, big risk on this candle. So if you want to take that, the retrace risk is pretty big, but we're going to give it a shot. Just waiting for the close. Okay. Against this, and we want to move over here. Where am I? At 45 to 35. Yeah, that's pretty close. And against this purple dot high, let's see if it comes back, or if it gives us continuity. Oh, it actually finally printed a thing on me. The volatility finally printed. That was a massive, massive reach. Did you see that? What was the low on this? 28. I know it was like around here. It wasn't that bad. Oof. Oof, oof, oof. I'm going to get totally reversed on this. I'm holding against this swing high, and it looks like they ran the lows and just they're going to rip it the other way. The first test was the wrong one. All right. If this point of control flips, we're going to reverse ourselves. Yeah, I shouldn't have sold the lows. My first mistake of the day. Okay, 12 seconds left. This candle needs to hold in order for me to have a reversal trade. All right, buy. I have to stop against the session lows, and the target is going to be where we at 80, so it's got to be 90. Yeah, you were positioned the right way. I shouldn't have sold the lows on that. I kind of don't know what I was thinking. We should have just simply held. Come on, do a reversal. Just almost there. It just missed my target by 4 ticks. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Don't do me dirty. There we go. So I did the reversal trade works. I get some of it back, but that was a tactical error, which happens, and we keep trading. Generally, it's actually like the more I think about it, really was the classic amateur trap, right? We're coming into London support, New York support, or below support. All of that screams that they're doing a stop run. That there isn't momentum move down there. All right, big white reversal trade. We're going to try to follow that. If it holds, okay, it holds. And again, what is my target? 97. I want to go to 7, 6, 7. Stop is going to be against these swing lows. Let's see if I can get the move. Come on. Let's go, baby. There we go. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There we go. All right. So we come back from the dead. But still, bad tactical error on this move, but good for now. Now we're going to the mid-range where there isn't really any trades that I want to do at all. The money was here. I made one tactical error of selling the lows, caught the reversals. Now we're going to go to the mid-range. Now is where, it's just lots of chop. If we start to verticalize to New York session highs, which I was thinking about this. I was thinking, they ran the lows. Are they going to run the highs? And then notice London session highs are almost right then and there. Then it becomes a very, very interesting trade the other way. But for now, we chill. We got really no good, clean trades to do at this point. Astrology has been all over this London lows trade reference point, and it's a really good one. We should now put that into our arsenal as a very, very worthwhile trade. Did you guys catch the reversal trades at all? No? Yes? No? Anybody take the white dot trade? Good job, Cheryl. Good job. I always, it's very interesting when you look at the trades that I do correctly and the trades where we get occasionally caught. The trades where I'm wrong are almost always due to greed, right? This trade over here, we traded really well to the downside, but then we're like, oh, there's more juice. Let's press it harder. And it's always that secondary press that always hurts you, right? You take some off the table, walk away. But if you press it, the market is going to a lot of times retrace against you. Yeah, it was a high prop trade. It was a high probability trade. Generally, here's what I find, by the way, and this is the other thing that's really interesting about ORBs that I really like is, if you are in the lower edge of the zone and you're getting some nice, white dots, those are really, really good reversal trades. Similarly, if you're on the upper end of it and you're getting purple dots, you're probably in a good zone, right? Once you get to mid over here, whatever signals you have kind of just evaporate into randomness. And of all the things that I really like about the ORB, it's the fact that I stopped trading the mid. Just basically just letting even if there's signals in the mid, I don't trade them. And that has saved me enormous amount of unnecessary losses. All right, let's see if there's anything on the news flow. Okay, let's see what's going on. Trapped. The private cabinet. Iran has communicated to all intermediaries acting in good faith that a ceasefire is contingent upon acceptance of its conditions. No negotiations will be held prior to that, blah, blah, blah. Iran lays out 5 specific conditions under which Iran would agree to end the war. Complete halt to aggression. Establishment of concrete mechanisms to ensure the war is not reimposed. Guarantee clearly defined payment of war damages. That's a non-starter. Conclusion of the war across all fronts. International recognition and guarantees regarding Iran's sovereign right to exercise authority over Strait of Hormuz. Interesting. So that's actually 3 out of 5 that are more. It sounds like they're really. Sounds like negotiations are really actually going to become for real. Like all the bullshit is stripped away. So 5 is not going to happen, and 3 is not going to happen. But those are bullshit terms. That's actually interesting. That's the first quasi-rational demands out of Iran that we've seen. Let's see how it goes. Hi, A40. You said you're new and from Delaware. Is that the story? Welcome. Everybody who's new, the dots and the ORB guidebooks are all over here. Here's the links. It doesn't matter what Iran thinks. It's more like, is there any kind of substance on the table? Starting to build a little bit of momentum here. Maybe this is going to put a little bit of a positive bid into the market as markets begin to think that there's some real negotiation instead of bullshit. Let's see. We're crossing the VWAP, crossing the mid, recovering that. I mean, how many times do we see that signature in the market? Sell off in the first half hour, recovery, and then move to fresh highs rest of the day. Iran is seriously negotiating, U.S. is not. That's probably true because we're basically, our negotiation is going to start after we take over Karg Island, which is the way it should be. All right, we're going through mid. It may be starting to reverse. Let's see. Do we have any? I don't think we have any interesting news this whole week, right? It's like economically, it's just really, really boring. Yeah, we just have a whole bunch of speeches and, weekly jobless. And then on Friday, we have U of Michigan, and that's it. So really nothing on the calendar. Yeah, jobs data next week, though. Oh, white dot is the earliest buying signal within a trend. A white candle is a super bullish candle because it doesn't touch the moving average. It's what's called a pull away candle. That means there's so much buying that it's not even touching the moving average. And the purple is the reverse of that. They're just really there for informational purposes only. We don't really trade any specific setup based upon the pull away candle, but it just sort of shows you. We're interpreting, how people interpret pressure through volume. We interpret pressure through price, which I think is a much more accurate way of interpreting it. We're through the mid and through the VWAP. That's very bullish, actually. And if you really wanted to putz around, you could take the trade here with a stop over here. I mean, if you want to, I don't know if I want to, but we can give it a shot. Let's give it a shot. Why not? Just it's a small trade with a relatively small risk, because this is the swing lows against which I really want to kind of trade. And where am I? At 50, so I want to be going to 60. 60, 60, 60. Let's see if basically the idea here is, we held the VWAP, we held the mids. In other words, we closed above the mids and held the price. Buyers are, seem to be in control. I'm just kind of following the flow, reading the flow. Nice clean. I picked up a little bit of money in mid, but on a very, very defined mid trade, right? It was like a one-time only. I clear the mid, I hold the mid, I'll trade the mid. That's it. Now I'm really not putzing around until we get to the edge. It's because we're either going to die and start coming back to the red edge, or we're going to consolidate and maybe start pushing to the upper edge. And only then do I want to get involved. Does that make sense to everybody? The cool thing about having the dots and the ORB overlaid, especially during the New York session, is that you could literally see the tactics evolving on a minute by minute basis and make intelligent, strategic decisions within the structure. Because you can see, if there's really genuine demand, or it's just all, kind of empty, random, endless stuff. Thank you, Rick. Rick, you've been so complimentary of me lately. Maybe I should marry you, because you compliment me more than my wife does. Not that there's anything wrong with that, Rick. No, I'm just kidding you, my friend. Thank you again. Well, if your definition of busting my ass, making Claude do all my work for me, then I guess I do bust my ass. Which indicator, sorry, Ben, what's the question? Which indicator do you leave the session boxes on? Oh, I leave it on the dots one. I'll leave the dots one. The dots is the primary. The ORB is the overlay. The ORB, the only thing I want on the ORB is just the lines. Good question. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, you have to understand, I've been using Claude for like 2 years. It's not, I'm not new at this. It's not, it's nowhere near as easy as it like appears to people. But it's very, very useful once you sort of understand the basics of AI engineering. But yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't have been even 1/10 as productive with you guys if I didn't really have AI at my back. You are not going to believe the shit that I made for the ORB course. I don't even want to tease it, because it's so good that I really want everybody in the ORB session on Saturday. It will just blow your mind at how good it is. In the old days, I used to work with programmers, but now I actually work with AI. Don't need to, baby. It's the new future. It's holding astrology, man. It's holding mid. And as long as it's holding mid, man, it ain't, that's what I'm saying. Price is telling us like very clearly, baby, buyers are holding. Oh, yeah. Of course I use a paid version. Yeah. I have like the premium version. Actually, no, Rick. So Rick is asking a good question, and this goes back to Ben. Again, on the ORB, let me just show you my settings. I have the dots unclicked, right? And I have the levels set up, and I set up the and I absolutely show the session high low things. Those I want. And actually, no, I was wrong, Ben. What I'm doing is I'm doubling. I'm basically. You don't need to. I could unclick this, and it's not going to make any difference on the ORB. You see, it still stays. So I actually did have it marked as both, but they just simply, duplicates the effort. What the basic idea is, the dots indicator gives you the dots and the session levels, and the ORB indicator should just simply give you the overlay of the ORB lines and give you session highs, session lows. ORB's indicator has two functions: show you session highs, session lows in our structure, and the ORB lines. Oh, Green Otter, you're gonna come down the rabbit hole, and then your wife will never see you. See, astrology, man, we're crawling, right? We're just crawling right up there. Carlos, to get the ORB, you just have to be part of our coaching or part of my lifetime. I sent it out to everybody already. If you're part of it and you didn't get the email, just email me now, and I'll set you up. And if you haven't joined us for coaching, here's the link. Then just send me an email. For some reason, you may be like one of those people that, for some reason, something is wrong with your email address. You didn't get the email. Although I think, did you not? I thought you filled out the form, and I thought I set you up. Maybe it was a different Carlos. All right, astrology is predicting a run towards the New York session ORB highs, which is going to be right here, trading the other edge. Oh, you have a fiance? Oh, that's good. Green Otter, do you mind telling me how old you are? You have to give me exact age, just like, under 40 or over 40, because I actually thought you were like older. All right, hitting the first reversal here. I think actually will be year-end coaching. Email me a note. I'll respond to you. So this is a tough trade, right? And I won't take this trade, even if this works. Here's why I won't take this purple trade, because the purple trade is mid. We're like basically around the mid level, right? Is there some continuity to the downside? Possible, but it's also, we've had a strong. See, look at that. This is exactly why I didn't want to take it, because it was actually almost better to buy it than to sell it at this point. I actually find, like, when I have a look at that move, astrologer, look at that move. Now we have a full engulfing of purple to white, big vol candle. And I remember yesterday I said I'm not going to trade the big vol candles, but if I was going to trade this, because this is just getting too big. If this holds white dot on the close, that's a great buy. If it doesn't, then it's not a buy. But this was like a really interesting engulfing the other way. But guys, there's like an interesting opportunity here. There's always a new opportunity to make money with dots once you watch the charts really carefully. The retrace trade, the purple dot against a nice big strong slope here. I knew this was a terrible sell, but if you know it's a terrible sell, then it's probably a damn good buy. I should start looking at this as a potential kind of a reversal buy structure. You're way over 40. I knew you were an old guy. But you said you have fiance. Okay. So I guess, romance runs eternal, right? I was like, fiance, man. What are you? Like my son? XLB, send me a note, okay, and I'll tell you your status. That was a really interesting little tug of war between the shorts and the longs here right now, right? We're still holding bid, still above the VWAP, still trying to see if we can run the highs, New York session highs. Carlos. White dot, purple dot, setting up. White dot holds. We got to go long here against this swing low. Let's give it a shot. 3, 2, 1. Boom. I got to come back down against these lows, and target is 510. See if it comes in. There's a big pop. Now I'm gonna have to trade the retrace on this. Okay, let's see if we can hold. Let's see if we can big the move. A lot of big ranges on this trade because, tough trade here because you have the purple dot, white dot reversal, but you also have like this really, really broad range. And you're going to have to probably hold off for the next 3 to 4 minutes to see how we can resolve and consolidate. It's probably going to be a lot of churn going on over here. Guys, I might have to go before this trade resolves because I got a meeting coming up. We'll give it like 1 more minute, but I think it might take another 3 or 4 minutes of very, very back and forth price action to kind of consolidate this trade. Let's see if we can make it move here. No, I think it's gonna consolidate for a little while. I'm gonna run, guys. Asia session tonight. I'll let you know how it goes. Everybody have a very, very good day for the rest of the day. Watch the highs. This is where the money is going to be at the highs as we start breaking, which is always probably like when we go off air around 11 o'clock. That's where all the trades are going to be. But I'll see everybody tonight, Asia session. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I'll see everybody a little bit later. Thank you so much. Hey, Gloria. Nice to see you. Bye-bye, guys.